start with the clip.
Talked to Drake cross FaceTime, he wasn't feeling me. Told me that he fuck with Drake, damn, that shit getting me. Told me that he like the shit I'm doing, but can't do shit with me. So when we cross, always fuck what you say, bitch, you my enemy. Say hard,
We live. Here we go.
Well, it's the epicenter, baby, and you know what it is. Girls like Sterling, King Bril done it again. Now who they got up on the pot? Gotta watch and see. Pour up a little drink and put us on the TV.
Pour your drinks up, pour your drinks up. We live. $200 bottles of Casamigos. Memorial Day special. Memorial Day special. We live.
The
Shout out to the
rainy
corner in the blue dress. Shout out to the girl in the corner with the blue dress. Man.
Not the girl in the corner with the blue dress.
You know the fucking vibes, man. We live.
What's happening, man? Welcome back.
Yes, sir.
To the Epicenter Podcast. That's DAEPICENTRE. Had to slow it down so y'all understand that the RE is the British way.
The UK way.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And I am none other than your host. It's been so long since I've done this shit.
I
boy.
know.
I
We
gotta kinda remember
rusty.
this shit.
We rusty.
Man, the voice you're hearing right now is none other than Mr. Sir, Your Highness, King Bril, and I'm here today with my dog, the greatest co-host in the world, Mr. Girls Like Sterl.
You know what it is. The greatest in the world. Girls like Sterl. We live.
Yes, sir.
We live.
And we are here with our regular co-host,
Give it to
Mrs.
him.
Khayla Jai.
You know the vibes. You know the vibes.
Hey guys.
It's lit, man. It's been a minute.
It's been so long.
It's been a minute, man. But we back. We got Pank in the back. Pank is in the back.
Big paint.
Sipping a little something, getting everybody headroom.
Yo, that's crazy.
Pank giving everybody a little headroom, man.
It's crazy, man.
You know what I'm saying?
When y'all hear this, we'll be coming right off Memorial Day on this good old Tuesday, man. But this has got to be the rainiest damn Memorial Day we have ever seen, man. How y'all feel about this, man? This weather.
As a woman who loves to be outside, I'm a little,
As a woman.
But I'm actually enjoying the downtime because I'm like, maybe it's a good reset, a good 3-day weekend reset is kind of what I needed,
Ooh, that Monday is important. That Monday reset is important.
Yeah. But I'm actually going to be on a boat tomorrow. So
In this weather, regardless of the weather?
Well, so we have it, and they were like, if it does rain, we can reschedule for the coming weekend. But me and the girls are still going to get together and do something. So
Okay.
That's gonna be lit. That's gonna be lit. Gotta be on boats
man.
all summer, man. How you feeling,
Got to.
Sterl?
I'm good, man. The weather's a little It's been like this all weekend. All weekend it's been rainy.
Yeah.
It's been cold. It's been groggy. It's been foggy.
Yeah.
But, we making it happen, man. We did make it outside yesterday for a little bit. Popped in at section recess, whatever you decide to call it now.
Oh, how was that?
It was straight.
You went to the day party?
Yeah, we got there super, super late, though, like 8 o'clock-ish type.
Oh,
and it
man.
ended at 9. So we was there for a smooth hour, got a couple drinks, and got up out of there.
Okay, okay.
It's something light. Something light.
Facts. Man, I ain't do nothing but lay up, enjoy the weather, listen to some R&B. You know what I'm saying?
My boy's expanding his palate.
Watch that last episode of Power, man. Boy.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Crazy.
Okay. Can y'all give
That
Kayla
nigga
another? I was going to watch it today. But
nigga Braden.
Yeah.
Braden, the real MVP.
Bro,
That's
what?
I'll say.
What?
That nigga, the real MVP. Should we spoil it?
Nah, don't spoil it.
No.
Don't spoil it.
Oh,
Thank you.
All right.
I
was gonna
am
spoil it for
eager,
y'all.
before we get into the day, I am eager to see what y'all think. Let's take a class vote.
Okay.
Which one is better, Power or Snowfall?
I'm saying Power all day because I'm just now watching Snowfall. So I'm just like literally binging episodes. It's cool, but I just love Power. The old school Power with Ghost,
Okay.
undefeated.
Okay, right. I was about to say,
Undefeated.
if we're talking like before the series and the books broke off, Power all day. But if we're
That's
talking
true.
like since the books have broken off, to me, Power has gotten very theatrical. It's very dramatic. It's so much going on. It can be a little overwhelming.
word.
So I'm gonna lean more Snowfall if we're talking new versus like current. But if we're talking old Power, oh yeah, for sure. Like I remember when Power was on Stars and you had to have the Stars package on your cable
Yes,
to
sir.
watch it, and being able to like be a part of the earlier people who were really
Right.
into the show. I have 50 Cent is doing his thing, but y'all know this is his last roundup with Stars. Like his contract's about to end.
Stars will bring that man back. We've seen this before.
I don't know. I think he going to BET.
Power on BET,
BET
is wild too.
you can't show titties on BET. That was what made. That's what
Right.
made. That's what made Power. The first episode,
Yep.
boom,
Them sex
drug
scenes.
deal, hold on, big club, drug deal.
Right.
Man cheat on his wife. titties, murder. That
Not
first
titties.
episode, that set
Facts.
the landscape for everything.
And Ghost, but it
that would
has
come
something for the men and the women. The women love to see
Yeah.
Ghost,
Facts.
and
Yeah.
the men love to see.
I love to see
You know what I'm
Tommy.
saying? The characters.
Tommy
Yeah,
is-
Tommy is that nigga too.
Woo.
Probably one of the coolest, smoothest white dudes.
It's like considering that
TV.
he's an act. Right, I'm about to say like
what
for
I'm
an
saying?
acted role. Oh my God, Joseph does so great.
Facts.
Like,
Facts.
Nah, he a beast though. He a beast.
He
And
does
give me
so
like
great.
I like the whites that's not like appropriating. They not like
Yeah.
making it seem
He
like
just
they
being
trying.
himself.
He being himself, and him
Yeah.
being cool is just like, all right, you can come to the cookout type.
I think
vibes,
it's,
you know
I think
what
it's
I'm
the
saying?
ginger, not the ginger's redheads.
I do love a ginger
Okay.
white.
The
man.
red,
Okay.
the redhead, like the,
If you a ginger and you watch the podcast, get it.
Gotta
that's the
start with
thing
Khayla
right
Jai.
here. The white boys who are gingers was that you got Tommy.
Yeah.
Is Braden
Braden's-
Braden is technically a ginger.
You got Travis Kelce.
Oh,
If you a ginger white man with a beard, bruh, you out here. I
and
don't
you're
like,
over
I don't like
6
that.
feet. Call me, okay.
I think he's like 5'9".
Who?
Tommy.
You know what's funny?
Nah.
People look so much taller on TV.
Amari Hardwick is small.
I could, yeah.
In
Now
height.
but to me, he looks small in height. But Tommy has big dick energy. You know, big dick energy will make you look so much bigger than you really are. No, I'm serious. Like there are some men that you see them on TV screen, and you're like, oh, he got to be like 6'2". You see this nigga in person, you're like, damn, you Ti. Like,
That's
And I think the shoes they had him wear, they be a
Yeah.
little bit more heightened and stuff. But they
Yeah.
made Ghost
now I want
look
to see
like
how tall,
tall
he
dude.
is.
I promise
Tommy.
you, I
Yeah.
think he's about 5'9", and that's a trick with videography. Like when you do certain
can't be
cinema
5'9".
certain movies,
He can't be.
There's
You shoot-
scenes of him beside, not to cut you, scenes
go
with him beside Tariq. Tariq is probably a smooth
Oh,
5'9".
But you gotta
he's
realize he was grown up.
5'10" and 5'8", so he's 5'11". So
5'11",
he's almost
right in that
6
good
feet.
5'11" range.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's 6 feet. We rounding that to 6 feet around
But
here.
5'10" is average height for a man. So
Yeah.
most men are around 5'10", so I could do 5'10".
Listen, we 5'11" to 6 feet on this show. 5'11" is most definitely 6 feet.
You're not 5'11".
I am.
No, you're
I'm
not.
like, right, I am 5'11".
No, you're not.
I swear to God, I'm 5'11".
You're 5'9" and 3/4.
I'm not nothing. No,
You are
I'm
not
5'9".
5'11".
I own my kid. I'm not 5'9".
We gonna see that after this.
Nope. No.
You ain't not gonna get it right.
Right. Right. I'm definitely 5'11".
We gonna see after the show,
swear to God,
Sterl.
who
Y'all
you wanna
stay
compare
tuned for
it
the
to?
clip of Khayla and Sterl standing side by side with a ruler and a measuring
do
tape.
it.
Y'all
Do
damn
it.
near
You
gotta
can do
shoot.
it with the measuring app.
We sure can. We gonna do it. We gonna
I'm
go from
5'11" strong. I say
without
that.
the shoes.
Y'all-
Without shoes.
Ooh,
Without shoes.
That's when
Without
it get
shoes.
nasty. Y'all damn near got to shoot the one. She said 5'9".
Sterl know I love him, but
Stop
he
it.
not no 5'11".
I swear to God I am.
What's your license say?
5'11".
Because that's what you told them.
No, you can look. You can look at it. Show the ID. On
Y'all
here.
Sterl about to pull up.
Listen, I ain't never been tested on my height though, because I'm not a short dude.
You're not short. No, I don't think
But
you're
that,
short, but I
even
think
with-
5'11" is a reach.
What height is
They
short?
got me 6 on there.
So, you damn sure ain't no 6. Yo, this man's license say he's 6 feet Sterling. Now we know that's a lie.
I'm not 6 feet,
Six
but I
feet,
am
2'10".
5'11". I am
one-
5'11".
He's
I am. Who you-
again. He's
who you
5'9" and
compare-
3/4.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'11", dog.
Exactly,
saying,
and you're not Bril's height.
gonna
Thank
stand
you.
up right now?
All right, and as we move
Hell
on,
no,
so
I'm
back
definitely
to
5'11".
rainy
I'm
day
definitely
sport.
5'11".
Because, no, you're not. No,
I'm
and
definitely
Brill is
5'11". I go
5'11". y'all.
5'10".
You and Brill are not the same. I'm looking at this picture of us right here.
Same height.
The audience, do y'all
We're the
see this
same height.
picture?
Look at it.
Do
No,
y'all
she
see
tried.
this?
She tried my whole life.
It was
Go
all
to any
a
picture
lie.
of me
It
and
was
Brill.
all a lie.
Go to any picture.
It was all
Go
a
to
lie.
Go to any of my pictures.
All a lie.
5'10" and a half. Put it
Sterling,
5'10" and a half.
well, again, 5'9" and
We can all
3/4.
stand up. We about to take a break.
All right, y'all. We coming right back. We gotta settle this.
On our first break, we will
gotta-
come back with the answers. y'all.
We will come back with
the
official answers.
You know
She
what's
tried me.
crazy? And this is a weird left turn, man. I got some homeboys from back home who swear I'm
Find me.
6'1" because in their mind they're 5'10".
Right.
Them
So
niggas
you
are
gotta be
5'6".
taller than them.
Nah, I say Brill.
So
You are
gotta be
5'11"?
taller than-
5'11". I think
Right, I'm
I'm
an inch shorter.
You're
We can find a picture.
5'9" and 3/4.
Definitely
Like,
not.
I said,
No,
okay.
5'10" and a half.
Them shits
5'9"
damn
and
near
3/4.
fighting words, boy.
Hey, you telling a nigga he 5'9"? They're like, hold up. The hell you talking about? We found some damn pictures. The sick thing is, my dad is 6'5". My brother is a smooth 6'1", 6'2".
I was like, yeah, your
I'm right
brother's pretty
underneath-
tall.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
fucked
right
up.
underneath.
That's fucked up a little
I
bit,
know.
man.
You know what I'm saying?
Your brother
That's
is
fucked up
pretty
a little
tall.
bit.
God knew not to make me 6'5", light
But
skin.
you give 6'5" energy.
Well, okay, I'll take that.
You,
But
yeah,
you gave me a
might have been
5'9".
you might have been a horrible person at 6'5", Sterl.
Oh yeah, sir, you would have been an ass
I
wipe.
would have been
You would have
sick.
been hooping. You'd have just
Sick,
been out here
hooping,
doing
Donkey for he
Just
coming in the
cuz.
door slamming the top of the.
What's up, y'all? Just hit the top of the man. But nonetheless, we got topics to get to.
Speaking
In the
of
meantime, I'm
6'5",
finding my pictures.
Speaking of 6'5", man.
He
Find
really
my
looking
damn
for this
picture.
picture though.
It's another light skin. He's a part of the light skin community, you guys. 6'10", 6'11", light skin killer. Plays
talking
up
about?
in Boston, man. Plays up in
Oh,
Boston.
Jason
He is
Tatum.
a dog. He is a dog.
He is pretty tall, and he looks
tall as
tall.
hell.
You know,
tall as hell.
He got like width,
Wingspan
like
and
yeah,
shit.
like arms out the here.
Oh man, what you guys feel about this, man? The Celtics might just recreate history, man. At first, we thought when Bron did it, coming back from a 3-1 lead, that was history. No one has ever done it. Now we got somebody about to come back from a 0-3 lead, man.
Yeah.
How does that work, man? Y'all think they can pull it off?
I don't know. I'm a Laker fan, so I'm just like, no, I have no horse in this race no more. You know what I'm saying? We talking about the whole playoffs in general. It was just like, you know, I'm feeling bad, bruh. Los Angeles, like we didn't do what we needed to do. AD is just inconsistent as you know, Charlotte weather. You know, so you might as well just call it nigga Charlotte
Didn't they
weather.
say like
bruh.
he plays bad on even day games or something?
Probably.
Like I was
He
like, ooh.
yeah.
Not far from it.
There was like even games he plays horrible, odd games he plays great, like in terms of series. And I'm like, you know what?
That's not good to have as our big man. We can't
Literally.
depend on you. You know what I'm saying? Versus what the day is, the game where we at. So I don't know, but yeah, it was a crazy game last night.
I'm always rooting for the underdog, and I love the story of the Heat because they weren't even supposed to be in the playoffs.
Right.
Like they won to play in. They've gotten this far, and I would love to see them do the distance because I'm also a huge Jimmy Butler fan. I was a huge Heat fan back in the day because I love Dwayne Wade. So I'm kind of tried and true. I don't really have a team anymore, but I'm always rooting for the person who I feel like wants it more. And I remember when Giannis, when they lost to them, they was like they were playing to win the championship. We were playing to win the series. They legit came in with the energy of we're trying to go the distance, but I think they got too comfortable after those first couple of wins, and it just started to be. It's like Jimmy can't do it by himself.
Yeah.
Like, and he can't.
A hell of a player.
And oh my God, amazing player. But also too, there was a couple games where Jason Tatum didn't show up. Like he was just kind of like MIA. So I think now it's more so about like everybody wants it so bad. So it's gonna come down to those minute seconds. Like Derek shot that shot. Like because Marcus Smart took the shot. It went in and out, and then Derek. Boom, and I'm just like, I didn't even see him put the ball in the hoop. They had to play it back, and I was like, he really did, because I just knew they were about to close it out last night. I just knew it.
Yeah, tough.
The energy, man, and I think that's what hurts so much as a Laker fan. I'm not a Laker fan. I'm a Melo fan, so I'm kind of in limbo, like you said. But the Lakers weren't supposed to even be in the playoffs,
Right?
And then
LeBron was playing his ass off.
He was, but he can't do it alone.
This last 1 month stretch where after the right before the trade deadline, they made that quick switch up, got D'Lo and everybody, and now they start winning. AD starts going crazy, and it's like, oh shit. First round, they might win. Oh,
yeah,
shit.
it was given the energy that they were going to go pretty far. But I think also too, like just being able to see certain players who normally don't do too much, like Tristan Thompson. Like he came out, he did pretty good there. Their last couple of games. I can't never pronounce his name right. Schroeder, is that it?
Derek Schroeder.
I like him, but he's a very wild player. Like he makes those unnecessary movements that cause those fouls. Like he grabs, he reaches in, he does it like he's just wild in how he plays. Like he plays like we on the street. Yeah. But he's a great player, great shot taker. Like those threes, he put it up every time. It's been a pleasure also too to watch Austin Reeves and his journey and because
that boy's a killer.
Yeah, like he went, he's starting. Like
put some respect on his name.
Yeah, for sure.
This series, you had to put some respect on dog.
But knowing the Lakers and Jeannie Buss, they'll find a way to fuck it up and probably trade him like they did. What's the old boy that was Ball, 6'5", headband, used to play for the Lakers. Great on defense. Dunking on people and all that stuff. Perfect role player. Oh my God!
What, past season?
No, this past season. No, maybe a season before last. What was his name? The
Look
white
him up.
boy.
Look him up.
Yeah, I got you.
He was bald and white.
He was bald.
Oh, I know you're talking about. I can't think of his name. I know you're talking about.
He played for the Bulls now.
Yeah. He would have had Caruso.
Yeah, man. They'll find a way to fuck it up.
Yeah.
So
that's our little sports take.
Congrats.
Well, do y'all want to talk with the wrestling too?
Wrestling.
I mean, not wrestling. Lord.
Boxing.
Oh, we got to be on the show talking about sports.
Wrestling.
We do have to give a quick update, man. So I give like the little hype beast boxing take. So in case you want to be a hype beast and kind of know what you're talking about, man. These guys try to check me a little bit.
Hold up. Y'all was on Bril head in them comments. And I didn't know we had so many boxing fans in our viewership.
And that's the thing about it, because I'm telling them like, yo, there's some guys that are 135 that are about to move up. Right. And he's like, nah, he ain't never going. And I send a nigga the clips. He does not DM me back. I got bro saying like, yo, I'm moving up to 140. And he's like, yeah, he said it, but he's not. I'm like, nigga, he just said it. How you gonna know better than him? But you can't tell a nigga. On your head in the comments, man. But anyway, so traditionally I'm a Lomachenko fan. My girl is very excited. She's like, "Oh, Devin Haney gonna beat Lomachenko," but then you see that performance that he put on, and Devin Haney was underwhelming against Lomachenko. For people who are coming to watch it, people who didn't know Lomachenko was probably one of the best technical fighters out there in terms of footwork. But he's small, so no one really. He's from Ukraine, so nobody black really is checking for him. But he put out a show. He got robbed. There's this thing in boxing, of course, when it goes the distance. There's the judges' scorecards, and they normally do like a sample score might be 113, 115, 113, 114, right? Depending on whose side you think it is. If those were all the scores, I wouldn't have cared. It would have been like this fight can go either way. But there was one judge that scored the fight 116, 112, which is damn near saying it was a blowout. And he said Devin Haney. So it's got a lot of people up in ants. But, you know, Devin Haney's winning. But that's not important. Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford.
That's the next one to watch out for?
That's going to be 10 times better than
What division is
Tank.
that?
And that's 147. So Floyd's old weight. Well, it's welterweight. So that is these two are dogs. Like Errol Spence cracked somebody's orbital bone in their skull, like surgery.
Damn.
And Terrence Crawford is like one hit. Like you can be winning the whole fight and he hits you one time and you're
Raps. Done.
That liver shot.
Right.
Bro, you better hope it's a liver shot. You better
I'll
hope
take
he's
that
laying out
over
Crawford.
a skull crack.
So yeah, man, y'all do y'all YouTubes on those two, Spence and Crawford, because it's coming up. It's gonna be pretty.
And not
big,
too much
man.
on Bril, man. Not too much on Bril. All y'all boxing heads out there.
Tell them, because
I'm about to say,
I would
like,
love to have a conversation, because you know I
They
don't
want no
think
conversation. They
I'm
tell
with
you.
Bril going on live and be getting in the comments debating y'all. Like
I've been
with
doing
it.
this. I've been doing this for so long. I had a YouTube channel for like 3 years at this point. I'm used to frying niggas up in my comments. I'm used to it. My skin is tough.
Y'all
With it.
heard it, man.
We're gonna put Bril on live one day and let y'all grill him.
I'm gonna
Boxing.
grill somebody else.
Yeah.
We'll even let y'all get on.
It ain't going like that for my boy. It ain't
Like, you
going
niggas
like
don't
that.
know what you. You cannot give me any advice.
Y'all can't do my boy, man. He know what he
Yeah.
talking about. He know the facts.
Exactly, man. Let's switch over to some softer subjects, man.
Soft life, soft girl
Walker, man.
era.
Exactly.
Khayla Jai,
Carisha,
take us into that. Let's speak about
So
the soft girls.
I just want to say, after watching her interview with Carisha, I now have a new level of respect for Summer Walker. I love how transparent she was. I love how she touched on things. And, you know, for a while, people were giving her flack about her anxiety. And as a woman who also suffers from different forms of anxiety, social anxiety, I hate that we expect performers to be not human sometimes. And I've seen Summer Walker live at least 3 times. I saw her when she was first starting out before like all the plastic surgery and everything, when she was just doing like, you know, I saw her early when she was on tour with Black. So that was what, 2019, 2018? And I've seen her a couple times since then. I really loved her interview because of, like I said, the transparency. She just seems like a regular person. And I love when my artists have a personality, or when when you can relate. I think me and Bril talk a lot about relatability in the social media realm. Like you have to have somewhat of something for people to feel like they can see themselves in you. And I think Summer Walker does such a great job of being super transparent in her music, her interviews, everything. One thing in particular that she touched on was how when she's recording music, she doesn't like to record with other artists in the studio with her, because her music is so personal to her life. It's her diary. She might be crying. She might be upset. Yeah, she's going through it. So she doesn't like to record with other artists in the studio. A lot of people would be like, oh, well, that's kind of like, ugh. Like, you know, they can't read your vibe. They don't know what to put the music.
Yeah, Carisha kind of had that, like, why do you do that?
She was giving us some hard questions.
Oh, yeah, Carisha was on my girl.
She's a real
I love
straightforward
Carisha's
interviewer.
journalism.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
It's a different style, and as podcasters now, we watch. I feel like all of us probably do watch the style of interview. She's super straightforward, but to your point, though, I feel like interviews and podcasts give us that, like, time to step away from the music and look at a person as who they are. So I was looking at it. I was forced to watch it with my girl. She wanted to watch it.
Don't say it like that.
I was forced to watch, but no, it was a good interview though. Like I don't know much about Summer Walker. She's not like something I throw on in the car. She do got some hits. She got some slaps. But she's not somebody I would just go to like hear about their life. But it was interesting to hear, you know, about pregnancy and what else she was talking about, her relationships,
how she co-parents with them,
co-parenting, but she's not
co-parenting
is not happening over there with her.
But you know what, I understand though,
sucks
because she said she was like, I'm a no nonsense person,
right.
And the first time that you start acting like you ain't got no sense, I cut it right there. And she was talking about how like she moves on pretty quickly, but it's because of the fact that she gives you the opportunity to be, you know, no BS, whatever. And she said it, she was like, I hate that me and London can't be cool because we made such great music together. And looking at that album, right, I would say those albums, those bodies of work that he had influence on, oh my gosh, they were amazing. amazing. But the fact that she was like, when he come to get the kids, I'm upstairs. Don't call me. Don't text me. Like, I don't even want to see you. You know, she said she plans her life around when her children are not around. And she said that, and this is for the women out there, like, you know, Summer Walker talked a lot about postpartum depression. And if you're a woman and you're going through that, please seek some help. You know, and get the support that you need. But she talked about how not having support was what brought that on. And imagine you're with a man, you got one child, he's not supporting you, you're not feeling seen and heard, and then you have 2 more children by another man. And like she said, she was like, now I feel like I have all the support in the world because of the person. That just goes to say a lot about how men affect women when they're going through like those really hard moments in the deepest parts of our lives. Like women always remember how you treated them during, after, before all of that pregnancy stuff. So just,
but that's why I hate. That's why I hate, and it's sort of going to get us into our. That's why I hate when women talk about I don't need a nigga this, I don't need a nigga for that, because in a sense you do.
Yeah.
Because there is a time where you will be down and out, and that's one of y'all's most vulnerable times.
Absolutely.
Where it'd be good to have help, even support, some type of confidant,
rub my back,
somebody,
rub my feet,
something.
make me a sandwich.
But women, well, women love just running with that narrative. I don't need a nigga for this. I don't need a nigga for that. And it come back and bite you in the ass. You know what I'm saying? When those times get hard and you are going to want a man. Like I be watching, my girl be watching, what's that realtor show on Netflix?
Selling Sunset.
Yeah. And Nick Cannon's girl is on there. And she
Yeah,
was
I
talking
saw
about,
that.
I don't need, you know what I'm saying, him for nothing. I can get a vibrator, you know, this and it's just like.
But it's not always sexual. And I think sometimes women, when we
Yeah.
be like, oh, I don't need him, we forget that men,
Yeah, it's more than
especially
that.
black men, I love y'all down. I really do. I love what black men bring to the table. I love how y'all support us. But sometimes there are some black men, and Summer talked about this. She was like, money doesn't make a nigga not shit. She was like, you can be a nigga with money and still be not shit. 'Cause she was like, she hates how people be like, oh, girl, you ain't learned your lesson yet. Why you keep dealing with these types of niggas? And she's like, they're everywhere. Like, money doesn't change how a man really, I mean, you know, it doesn't change who you are at your core. And she's just like, she gets a lot of flack for the men that she deals with, but people like, ain't shit, niggas are everywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think I think when it comes down to it, we do need men. We do need our black men especially, and we need that emotional support. But because women are more emotional than we are logical, sometimes that line gets a little,
It's faded. Yeah, especially
very
those times
gray,
when y'all deep in love, it's hard to see. And that's what, when I think about that, I'm like, so whose fault is it? Is it your fault for opening your legs and having a baby with a dude that was probably showing red flags? Or is it the man's fault that, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like a
It's a
double-edged
catch-22,
sword. You know what I'm saying? Like, either way you look at it, I'm not sure who the blame should fall on, because the man, you let him have sex with you and have a baby. Y'all probably talked about it, unless it was an accident. And then, you know what I'm saying, when things happen after the pregnancy and you postpartum depression, you don't have nobody to fall on, like, who do you blame, yourself, or do you blame the other person?
I think in Summer's situation, though, her and London were already, like, he was embarrassing her out in public. He wasn't really with her throughout her pregnancy. She talked about that, like, still over it, the album. She talked about how, like, literally the whole time she was pregnant, she's at home. He basically locking her in the house. She can't go nowhere. He's not there. He's out. He's doing whatever. So it was kind of set up for her to kind of not fail, but in a sense, like, it already was kind of rocky. Yeah. But she did do a really good job of thanking his current girlfriend, Shinsia. She was like, since Shinsia came around, she has made him be a better father to all of his children. And she gave her props. She was like, you know what? I respect you, because you are the reason why he now gets his kids and does the things that he's supposed to do. And she
Sometimes it be that.
It does take another woman, but see, me,
the right woman.
If I'm with a man and he got kids, if you don't get your kid, if you're just a financial dad or Instagram dad, I can't be with you, because my dad has a lot of children, and it's been interesting to see his dynamic with us. So if you're not the type of father that's gonna go pick your kids up, spend time with them, they not coming over to the house, you can't be alone with your kids without help. I got a problem with that. I can't date you. So.
Yeah, no Instagram dads. I not to change the subject, but I kind of empathize with Summer on a lot of the stuff that she's going through, because especially the performance aspect, because she has admitted to some unclinically diagnosed social anxiety.
And I think nervousness, like, shit, it's nervous.
Well, she also said that her therapist helped her get through that. Like, she went to therapy and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a different level though, bro. Social anxiety, because I had it. I think I grew out of it, because you can desensitize yourself, like being a bro, you can desensitize yourself to a lot of that stuff. But I think there's a certain level to where it can actually go from nervousness and normal shyness to social anxiety, because you got to think about, and I think that's why some of her fans can be so disappointed with the lack thereof of performance, because she has so much personality in close situations, like on Instagram. She's such a artsy, different girl, but then you get on stage and you have this heartfelt music and you stand in one spot. So they're not understanding like, hey, this social anxiety. It's a lot easier to be transparent and like you say in the studio and be vulnerable on camera when it's just you and your phone, or in the booth and it's just you and your engineer, or when you're even on Carisha Please, as opposed to when there's 10,000 people looking at you. There's a spotlight and all you see is cell phones.
And you know what's funny too? She talked about how with her set list, with her songs, how she doesn't perform certain songs because they are so emotional and she will cry. And she was like, her label will throw the songs on the set list and she'd be like, no, I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it, because it is so emotional. And imagine 10,000 people looking at you, waiting for you to cry.
Waiting for you to cry.
Right.
So that's crazy. There's a and you wouldn't imagine this, but the baby, he actually said songs like Intro, even though it's like hype beat. That was one of his more vulnerable songs.
He said he's talking about his life in that.
He said that he doesn't make vulnerable music like that. That's like, a lot of stuff is like, it's like a bop, it's like a vibe. He can get in that pocket of really talking his shit about personal life, but he said he wouldn't want to perform those songs. He would do them and probably never want to hear them again, but it kind of be biting yourself in the ass to make a number one hit song like that and then not want to perform it or not want to sing it again.
But it's a release. I think we fail to realize sometimes, like, people who make music are artists. Like, music is art. And like Erykah Badu said, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. Like, it's really, music is their way of expressing themselves when they have no other option. Which, perfect segue. NBA Youngboy.
I wanted to ask a question though before we leave that.
Okay.
That was a good segue.
Okay.
Bril,
what's up?
you said you suffered with social anxiety, but you grew out of it. Talk about
grew
that. Because now you wouldn't be able to tell, and then we can sort of talk about our upbringings. Because I haven't, but it's maybe in a different way. But talk about I'm interested to hear that.
So
if you can break it down.
So like I'm the oldest, first of all. So I'm the oldest. So like in my life, naturally, I don't want a lot of attention, but I naturally get attention. So when you're a person that you don't want attention, but you get it more often than you want it, then it's like it puts you in like a nervous situation. Like I don't want people to look at me or think about me in a situation, or it'd be
Is it like the fear of letting people down type of thing, or
it's like I get penalized heavier than everybody around me. So like I'll tell you the story. When I was like growing up, and this is like the story that kind of tells you my whole life. Not only am I the oldest, so I got the most responsibility.
Of course,
I got a heavier burden to bear, right?
Right.
And my next sibling is my sister, so of course big brother.
Yeah.
But like, let's say I was on a school bus this one day, right? And like the girls on my school bus used to call me cocky, but I never understood why. And I used to be like, damn, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Right.
Come to find out, they just like me. But
of course,
so it was one time my homeboys would be frying this girl who was a little bit bigger. You know what I'm talking about. But I ain't gonna tell her say her name, of course.
I know you're talking about.
She's a little bit bigger right now, right? My homeboys are frying. I'm talking about flaming her shit, and I'm in that bitch like trying to hold it in, laughing.
Yeah,
they're pointing and frying her up. I'm in the corner like trying to chill. I'm like, damn, y'all need to chill on her, shorty, man. But it's funny. She goes to the front of the bus and tells the bus driver that I was frying her up and that I was laughing at her. So then I got to move, and this is some elementary school shit, but I got to move to the front of the bus, and they continue to fry in the back. And I'm just, my whole life is kind of like that, where I'm not really in the mix, but somebody's like, what about your Bril?
Right. What about that dude?
So as I got older, situations like you playing varsity sports, and then sports and shit, and then the bros where you gotta actually perform on stage and shit. You learn to kind of stop running away from attention and spotlight and just start basking. Start basking in it. Okay. So it's not like my bad. Last thing I'm gonna say. The mistake that people make with social anxiety is why they can't really overcome it. When you got social anxiety, you're hyper aware of people looking at you or thinking about people looking at you. You cannot ignore those people.
Right.
So your only other option, you can't pretend that there's nobody in the room. You have to start looking at those people and feeding off that energy. So you can't ignore it. So you can't be like playing ball and like, act like it's just practice. You can't do it. So you have to turn and start. It has to turn into a performance. So you have to start looking at the crowd and kind of swallowing like, I'm here to perform, and kind of hype yourself up, encore type shit.
And I think that's with me. My life has been a little different because I've always been sort of in the spotlight, first child, and I've been a musician since 2. So early, I'm playing drums at church in front of a lot of people. I'm 7 years old playing in a high school band. We doing tournaments.
7 years old?
Yeah, I was 7 years old playing in the high school band. So I've always been in the spotlight. I was doing talent shows. I was like go do this, go do that, talk in front of this, speak for this. So like my whole life now has just been like that, just grown up. You know what I'm saying? Like now we podcast or the clothing brand. I was doing stuff where I'm always in the spotlight. So I figured out how to just like everything is a performance for me. So it's sort of hard for me to come to real life sometimes. Like you in the opposite, like you got like shun people out, but me, I'm always used to that. So most of the time I'm talking to people. I hate, somebody brought it up to me and sort of put me in my place one time. Like like at homecoming, I'm just dapping everybody up, and you had those little short combos like, yo, what's good? Everybody good with you? All right, baby. And you just
Work
have
in the room and you don't get no depth.
And I don't have, it took a minute for me to realize I'm not in like the actual room a lot of times. A lot of times I'm just in like performance mode. Yeah. So I'm always like giving people short convos, and that like they feel like it's real, but to me it's just like I'm just used to talking to so many people. I'm just used to like
working the room,
a
deep
right.
situation.
I have to like, so when I get into the depths, and maybe that's why like the emotion side is not the biggest for me, because I never got a chance to dig into that. I'm always been like performance mode, whether it's music or anything. I'm always like having to be out and just not really be in the moment. I'm always outside of the moment, but like acting or performing as if it is, and I'm good at it and I've mastered that, but then like it's hard for me to actually master being in an actual closed space. Like a therapeutic space probably would like fuck me up.
Fuck you up.
Being one-on-one, talking about like deep shit, because I ain't never had to do it. I'm just
That's
used to
so crazy, because I think I'm kind of in the middle of the both of you. Yeah. So with me, my upbringing, I kind of talked about this earlier, like about how my parents and stuff, but the number one thing about Khayla in her family dynamic is I came out of nowhere. And I am almost in an age group by myself, in a sense. I have 2 older stepsisters, but I'm my dad's firstborn child. I'm my mom's firstborn child, and I'm the first girl on my dad's side of the family in a very long time. So I was always like put on a pedestal for show, bows, ribbons, like, that whole, like, make you look pretty, show you off to everybody. I was, in a sense, and I mean, I fed off of that for a very long time, and it really has shaped my perspective of myself. Like, they always say your dad gives you your first taste of what love is like, and like how your dad treats you is how you go out into the world expecting, my dad always told me, baby girl, you're beautiful, you're pretty, you can have whatever you want. My dad spoiled me, my grandfather spoiled me. So my perspective is a man coming up and telling me I'm pretty. I'm like, that's nice. What else? What else? So I think for me, because I was always put on display, I had to kind of be, able to talk. And then I sing too. And my grandmother, singing runs in my family. Music, period, runs in my family from my great-grandfather all the way through. So because everyone in my family is vocally inclined, it's always, sing in front of the choir, or go do your speech, go sing in front of this person, sing in front of this, do that. So I'm used to performing, but I turn it on and off. And like people who really know me know that I'm actually very reserved. I like to be in my room, watch TV, like be on my phone to myself. But when I have to show up, I show up. But see, the difference between me and Sterling is I can turn it on and off. Yeah. Like I can sit in this room and all of y'all could leave and I would be just fine in here by myself, and I don't necessarily also have to work the room. I can play the back seat and be okay with that. But sometimes I end up in Bril situations, right? I end up in situations like what Bril gets in, where it's like, oh, well, you're there, so you gotta do something because you're there. And I'm just like, do I have to?
Yeah. My shorty was so surprised when she got like to know me. Like now I'm in that space. Like now I can turn it off. Like when I'm not out, it's like I tell her like it's either 100%, like I'm either super soul or I'm 0. Like I'm just chilling in the crib, and I'm cool with that. And I figured out why not, because I'm always in performance mode. So when I get the chance not to do that, and I don't have to be on camera talking to people, I'm literally like chilling. She was like, I want you to be more fun. I want you to do what you do what you do.
Sterl, come on,
yeah, be Sterl.
Big girls like Sterl.
This is Sterl. Y'all just don't never see that Sterl. Y'all just see that Sterl. You know what I'm saying? But there is a difference. So it's like I gotta find the middle part. I'm either 0 or 100. Like that's just how my life goes now.
It's crazy. I be trying to. It's at a point where I have to force myself, because it's like
to do which one?
It's like a speed bump. So for me to even conjure up the energy to be social, I gotta like fuck it. We gotta get the gears going. Gotta keep rolling. But I'll be in my room and I'll go into like I think I was talking to Khayla about this earlier. I go into 0 dark research mode. Like I'm just fuck it. I'm just working. I ain't seen a nigga in 3 days.
I ain't seen daylight. Open these curtains.
Just in there working. My girl be like, "What are you doing? Come outside. You ain't talking to nobody." I'm like, I'm working. You see, I could bring her hair like, come on, turn off the light. Right. Look at this is what we got right here.
Yeah.
All you see is a board with a bunch of equations and newspaper clippings, and he drawing red lines and stuff.
Bags on the eyes. This is what I've been working on. This is it. This is just like
my greatest creation.
Nigga, mad scientist, basically.
Right, look, he in there creating Frankenstein.
So they be calling me Dexter.
Not Doofenshmirtz. Dexter, I like that one.
Like Dexter's laboratory.
That's funny.
Time out.
Mac texture.
Hey.
Well, it's the epicenter, baby.
Here we go. go. Here we go.
It's the epicenter, baby,
And you know what it is.
Girls like Sterling, King Bril, done it again. Now who they got up on the pod? Gotta watch and see. Pour up a little drink and put it on the TV.
Make sure you take your bartenders.
What she say? Pour up a little drink and put it
License
on the
plate
TV.
1, 2, 3.
They towing
ABC
you.
1, 2, 3. They towing your shit right now.
They towing.
You know what it is. Man. We back.
Yes, sir. Time in.
Yes, sir. Ski.
And now we back, man. Interesting conversation, man. I hope y'all guys are doing well, enjoying this situation, man. Kayla, Miss Khayla Jai, our regular co-host, man. You got something for us today?
I do.
We're gonna take a trip to Kayla's Corner.
I love that, Sterling.
Really?
Thank you.
We got the sound. We got everything we need right
Ooh.
here.
I really like that, Sterling.
That's hard.
You get some cool
trying to-
points from me for that. I really like that.
Sterl
Shout
been
out to
showing his ass.
Yes.
We got
We
this.
got the soundboard.
Audio listeners. Even our viewer on YouTube, I was watching. I was like, yeah, it's hard.
That's hard.
That's all we needed.
Well, everybody, welcome to another episode of Kayla's Corner.
Sunshine Rainbows.
So, in this episode, we're going to briefly touch on zodiac signs. So, a couple weeks ago, I did a poll on my Instagram, and I asked people to talk about like the worst signs that they had ever dated, you know, why, things like that. And I was able to take that feedback and do some rankings.
Oh,
So, before I give these rankings, I just want to say, as a person who was born in the summer, I took this shit so offensively. Like, you couldn't have hurt my feelings in a worse way. But the number one worst sign to date was drum roll. Do we have drum roll?
no drum roll. We got a fucking feedback though.
Right.
Go ahead. We had no drum roll.
Okay, that'll work. What he said. The number one worst sign to date was cancers.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know about that one. I think it had a lot to do with the emotional piece that comes with cancer sometimes. Like, they can be more emotional, especially cancer men. Me personally, I have dated a cancer man, so I'll agree. It's killing me.
Hey.
Yeah, let's rock.
Hit it, Pink.
Kayla, we back on you.
Oh, we back on me?
Yeah, I already pressed record.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so the number one worst sign was cancers. And as someone who's born in the summer, I take offense to that, but I have dated cancer men, like true July cancer men. He was crying.
He was crying?
He be crying.
Was he light-skinned?
Yeah.
Oh.
He be crying. But no, no disrespect to him now. He is
Not too
married with
much.
children. You know what I'm saying? I still fuck with him the long way, but it was definitely more of an emotional imbalance between the two of us sometimes. But the second worst sign, Panka cancer.
Our producer, our cameraman, Pank is
And light-skinned.
and he's light-skinned.
Not too much.
Pank
He's
be crying.
definitely light-skinned, definitely cancer.
Not too much.
Pank be crying. It's funny, y'all. Me and Pank are born on the same day, but we both claim two different signs. I claim to be a Gemini. Pank claims to be a Cancer. I don't know. We're both June 21st. I don't know how that happened, but
Yeah.
so the second worst sign is Gemini, and as a Gemini, I can understand why we get a bad rep, but honestly, the male Geminis were what drove this category, what drove the numbers up so high.
This is females talking
I
about
was about to
men.
say, so
Well,
let me
so all of the numbers were from both sexes.
so let me get this right. All the bad things associated with cancers and Geminis are men. Men drive those.
Well, no, I
And
think Cancer women are great, but they do have that. It's the emotional piece of Cancers, period. But if you ask anyone about like Geminis, most men love Gemini women. The only thing they hate about us is how we go from 0 to 100. Like, we're twins. The Gemini sign is a twin. So it's literally like it's like dating two people in one. But Gemini men having that flip switch, it throws a lot of women. Because men you shouldn't be able to flip like that. Like, that's just not right. So most of the people in this category were women that drove the Gemini number kind of high, because they say dating Gemini men is just always like a pain, a literal pain. And then the third ranking was Sagittarius. Now,
What, that's September?
no, that's December. So
December,
that's
okay.
like late November into December midway. My dad is a Sagittarius. One of my male best friends is a Sagittarius. So I can kind of see why Sagittarius, they call them Sagittarius. Like, that's the name. That's the name that they get.
Interesting.
And I think like men that are Sagittarius get that name because, again, Sagittarius can be known to be very manipulative. That is one of their character traits, like being super manipulative and not knowing when to like cut it off, or like not knowing when to stop to get their way. I have dated a Sagittarius man, and I will say He bested me. He was one of my very first boyfriends. He bested me. He did. So I could kind of agree with a lot of these. And then some of the ones that followed up, Virgo and Leo were tied for 4th place. And 5th place was Capricorns. And then Aries, Scorpio, Pisces, and Aquarius were tied for 6th place. And Taurus and Libra came in at number 2, which with the number 7.
That means we're the best. Like,
well, y'all, it's like I only had 2 votes for both of those, but exactly. I disagree because Taurus men are so stubborn. Libra men are so all over the place. Like you never know what you're gonna get with a Libra man.
Balance. Play this out. Balance.
You never know what you're gonna get with y'all though.
Balance.
But I also, Sterl, you're an Aquarius.
I'm Aquarius, yeah.
Does your girlfriend ever give you flack? Like, oh, you're such an Aquarius. Like, does Jazz ever be like?
Not really. I don't get too much flack about being an Aquarius, other than like how different I am when it comes to like either all the way on, all the way off.
I think Aquarius, one thing about y'all, you guys have the ability to emotionally detach from anything so quickly.
Right, yeah.
And it's a love-hate relationship with that because there's certain situations where you need to latch on.
She do get on me about that, being emotionless.
Yeah, but y'all are super logical creatures.
Super.
Even my female Aquarius friends are very logical and like straight to the point.
I know an Aquarius that is not logical at all.
Who?
Y'all don't know. T know it's not logical at all. Just like, you know, the whole free-spirited, spiritual, got that. You know that big rug,
tapestry,
that
tapestry
thing that
on
you
the
have
wall
in your bedroom. That shit, plants. Type shit, you know what I mean? Watches anime, that whole alternate personality.
Oh, wow.
The whole alternate personality, Aquarius.
I would have to meet that person because that's interesting to me. But also, too, to kind of double back on you, Bril, like with Libras, my older sister's a Libra. And one thing I will say about Libras, no one Libra is alike. All of you are so different. I have never met a Libra that reminded me of another Libra. So when people tell me they're Libras, I'm like, oh, I can see that because you don't remind me of anyone I know.
Yeah,
like you are so unique.
Wow, look at that.
Y'all are very dynamic, very unique. But it's funny how all of us right here are air signs. Like Libras, Aquarius, and Geminis. And it's another one that flows in there with us. We're all considered like that air sign. So we all kind of flow and go with what's going on around us, which I think kind of brings it all forward. But while we're also on the topic of zodiac signs, literally like an hour ago, Spiritual World posted a tweet from Glorilla, and she said she got the best head from a Libra and the best bleep from a Cancer. What about you? And she asked her fans, and people were just kind of giving their feedback. So, I mean, can I ask y'all on camera what y'all? Y'all gonna say? Okay, all right. Okay. But a whole lot of a whole lot of redacted.
Don't know.
But no, like it's interesting.
No
like
comment.
I'm reading,
I don't know what's going on.
I'm reading some of the comments, and the women are all like, you know, Aquarius, Virgos, Cancers, Scorpios, Geminis, Cancers, Aries, Scorpios, Sagittarius, Geminis. Hey, we in the mix. We made it to the count. It says, LOL, them Libras do know how to F with them. What? I'm not even gonna.
What in the hell
just know
is going on?
They giving some real good praise in those comments. So if y'all want something interesting to go look at Glorilla's Twitter thread about zodiac signs and their sexual abilities.
How many men were answering in those comments?
I saw a few. There are actually a few men on this post.
I gotta go look through that.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah, there's one guy. His name is the Big Boy. One is
talking shit about.
One is Mr. Buns.
No, but if it's men leaving a comment,
they're talking about women.
right.
So one said that Virgo women and Cancers will give you flashbacks for the rest of your life. Another man said, give a Gemini a shot and she's life-changing. I like that because I am life-changing. I like that, Mr. Buns. You go right on here with
Mr.
your
Buns.
Mr. Buns. You go right on here.
You sound like a freak.
This one says Scorpio's got the best sex game, period. That was a man talking about women. Okay.
This has been
another episode of Khayla's Corner. Thank you guys for participating.
Butterflies and rainbows.
But while we're talking about sexuality, Janelle Monáe. Yeah.
You want to bring us in?
I mean, I saw her titties on Twitter, so I mean,
well, let's just talk about
Twitter's
it. She's
a beautiful
not wearing,
place, ain't it?
Twitter is a beautiful. Twitter's turning into the old
is a
Tumblr. Remember when
beautiful
Tumblr,
place.
you could get on Tumblr and there'd be Titty Tuesday and stuff.
Oh shit!
You never knew about Titty Tuesday?
I
on
wasn't
Tumblr?
really on the Tumblr wave like that.
Oh, I was on Tumblr heavy back in high school.
Tumblr gal.
Yes.
Tumblr girly.
Back in high school before Yahoo bought them and ruined it.
Well, let's say this. She is now sexually liberated and not wearing Steve Harvey suits, Men's Warehouse suits
with the
anymore.
extra shoulder pads.
But let's be honest, if she had came out super sexual from the jump, y'all wouldn't have like respected her music as much.
What year did she come out? That was like the 07,
The
08?
Tightrope. It was Tip on the Tightrope was her first song, which she had like the black and the.
It was like 2007, 8ish.
I would look that up actually.
When you say that, I assume you mean men as a whole. When you say we wouldn't have respect her music, I can't say I know more than 2 Janelle Monáe songs.
But I think she means just respect as a person in the industry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's more so.
Because
what I'm
back then, like, I mean, let's be like, women come in and it's either like you look good.
It was 2008.
And if you don't look good, you got to really be able to sing. And I don't think she
rap.
either was on.
Like Meg is clapping her ass at every available moment, but she can rap.
Nobody cares about that.
But
Nicki Minaj can rap.
Right. That's why I say you either
Doja
on the
Cat
very
can
end
rap.
of the teeter or you on like you really do your art good or you really look good and you okay.
Right. I agree with Sterl. There's no in between.
There's
with
no in
that.
for women.
There's no
That's
in
the
between.
thing. So
with
you
that.
got to come in like about your business and you really I don't even know what lane she would be in.
Because you even got women like Saweetie who she just
she was
looks
trash.
really, really good. But her music, and I'm a Saweetie fan. Don't get it twisted, Sweetie. If you see this, I love you, girl. But her last EP and like some of her recent music since the breakup with her and Quavo hasn't really been all that hitting. But when Saweetie first came out, she was popping that icy wifey, that like, you know, that melodic rap girl, you know, old, you know, whatever. Yeah. But she's beautiful to the point where she could pull the Cassie route and just ride that model wave all the way out.
Or the influencer route. I think we talked about that on another pod. Didn't we?
On
She
the
sort of
influencer
went
route,
like the influencer, just being a face, commercials, you know, TV.
Performing
She's good for
her
that.
couple little songs and keeping it
Yeah,
moving.
but like
I don't understand why she is insisting upon being her own pen, bro. Like I don't understand why does she take pride in writing it. Like you have people with like Cardi B who like to the world is like, yeah, I got ghostwriters, but that shit be fire.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because
Some of that
Cardi
shit
can
Cardi be-
deliver it.
Facts.
It's the
Right,
delivery.
right.
Like anybody can write a fire lyric, but who gonna deliver it the hardest is what I look at.
That's the
Because
most
even
important.
when we're talking about stuff like that, we think about what's the girl Naja. I think that's her name.
Queen Naja.
Queen Naja.
No, not Queen Naja, but there's a girl who is known for being a ghostwriter for like Jay-Z, Beyonce, Cardi B, Offset. I can't remember her name, and I'm sorry if I'm messing it up and you ever see this, but she has won a lot of awards for her work behind the scenes for a lot of major mainstream
You
artists.
got to know your lane.
Yeah.
You know, she probably is she attractive? Does she
Oh
look
yeah,
good?
she's a beautiful girl, but
okay.
she just knows like I do better with composition and getting those writing credits, and also too to me, there's more money in those
I
things
say
too.
20 total. You get that check from them writers' checks.
There's more
Facts.
money in
You
that
can
too
get that.
because think about the label pays you, like the label's fronting all of this stuff for your album to do great, which means the people who are putting in the work are already getting paid. You won't get paid unless it does well.
Right.
So I think as an artist, sometimes they get they get the shit end of the stick when it comes to a lot of these deals. But just to kind of circle back, when we're talking about Janelle Monáe, now her music is very much so, like you said, open, liberated. To me, she gives the vibes of a Doja Cat or a Tessa Thompson or someone who makes music just for themselves.
Or really for the women too.
Or right, or
I
even
was
for
like,
just the
That's probably when
liberation.
they cross our radar like that because it's not really something we're gonna put on or like come on in our everyday playlist. But women, you know what I'm saying, they gonna like to hear, you know, they like that's their vibe. Y'all like to hear what she got to say, her personality.
Yeah.
I think her personality speaks bigger than her music does.
I think she speaks to a lot of women who have been closeted about their sexuality for a very long time. Like with the song Lipstick Lover, it, you know, she's basically talking about like liking women and like that liberation she feels from being open about how she feels towards women. There are a lot of women out here who are closeted gay women, or not even gay, but like closet
gay?
lesbians.
Nah,
Because
I thought she was gay.
Because that's the thing too. In 2007, 8, it wasn't like as accepted as it is now. So she
You
probably,
think so?
yeah. I mean, yeah.
For women?
For women?
I don't know.
For
Nicki
women?
Minaj had a lot of girls going
But
gay
that-
in middle school.
Yeah,
bro.
but that was like that was the
way-
beginning of that turn though. Like now it's just like you come
But
out
that's
like
the
that.
thing though. So for women, it's not necessarily being gay. It's being
bi.
sexually. Well, no, it's just called sexual
Sexually
liberation.
free.
That it's liberation. It's being able to say, "Oh, you're a beautiful woman. I can rub you, touch you, but I'm gonna go home to this man
That's
when
crazy.
it's all said and done." But with women, that's the ability that we now have. We now have that
Right,
freedom because
right,
so
right.
many other women put it forth for us to be more open and say, "I think she's beautiful," but it's not. Oh, well, do you like
'Cause
her?
that-
You know, it's not automatically assumed.
What star am I thinking about that was real big but she was gay? Damn, that sounds
Well,
crazy.
Right, I'm like,
I
what?
don't want to say what kind of gay was she, but like what kind of gay?
Not Whitney
was she?
Houston. It was
Like, what
somebody
her
that was big
personality?
during
It
that
was-
time, like the
Whitney
six-
Houston was gay.
It was Whitney Houston, right?
Yeah, Whitney Houston.
that's what I'm saying.
Really?
Like
She had a girl. She had a girlfriend before
I watched
Bobby.
I had watched
Her
their
best friend.
the thing on
Oh,
Netflix.
I remember that, yeah.
And that's what I'm speaking more or less. Like during those times, she couldn't openly come out and be like, I'm gay. Her mom, she came up in the church. she was singing, like, but she had a girl. But
that's another thing. Like with women, we don't necessarily have to use the word lesbian, or because I also want to be politically correct. We don't have to say we're a lesbian. We can be we can show up with a woman, hold her hand, and kiss her, and men will still be like, okay, well, you want to go get lunch afterwards? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that label. We don't have to stick to that. We have the freedom to choose and literally liberate ourselves amongst our options. But we didn't always have that ability to be so open and honest and upfront about it, whether it be musically or just out in public. Like, we didn't have that ability. But also, too, I find like a lot of women now, when they like dealing with men and it goes left, they're like, I'm going to just go be gay. And it's like, that's accepted. Like, you can now, as a woman, make the choice to just be like, oh, I'm gonna just go date women and see how this goes for me.
I think that's like there's always I guess it's duality. There's always a negative and positive to every stereotype or double standard. Like, you can go be gay, or you can like women for a period of time, and men will welcome you back with open arms and won't care.
Absolutely.
But then also you have in the way in which you rack up sexual partners, then you do get judged a different way. So that's kind of the other side of the coin there. You know what I'm saying? So you probably do a lot of women. No one really gave a fuck.
Promiscuity. Was it
Promiscuity?
Promiscuity.
Spell it. Who gonna spell it?
Ooh.
PRO. Fuck it.
PROMIS. Promiscuity.
Promiscuity.
It's promiscuity, I think.
That word is frowned upon with women, I would say.
I think it is very, like, if we're being very promiscuous, mischievous, just out there. You got a lot
of partners. You racking up the partners. That's when you're sort of like, you know what I'm saying?
But that kind of goes also to, like, age, because, like, at what point do you just stop counting, or what point do you just stop worrying about what other people are going to think about how many people you're sleeping with? Now, granted, as a certain type of woman, there's you have a certain decorum about yourself.
Right.
But there's a lot of women out here who are having theirs and you wouldn't know because of the way that they carry themselves and move. So I think when we talk about sexual liberation, we also have to let go of that narrative, that because men love to do this whole lock and key thing. Oh, there's a key for many locks, but there's only one lock with the key.
They hate it because they made. I'm saying I agree with it, but that shit made hella sense.
It makes sense, but it's so demeaning and degrading to women.
Have to be. It depends on how you look at it.
It's degrading because it's like basically saying like, oh, you just have to sit there and, well, not sit there, but like you have to restrain yourself. But he can go stick his key in all these locks and try to see what fits.
But we don't get that option like y'all do.
Oh,
Women, it's not as easy. It's not as easy. Y'all, you looking at? She's looking at you be looking at the percentage of guys you fuck with. Those guys can do it, but there's a big part of men that are invisible to a lot of y'all women that have no option to just go out and do what they want. Even though they have a dick, they can't use it like some other men can. Any woman, almost from butt ugly to very gorgeous, has sexual pleasure or whatever in the world.
I think we talked about this on a couple pods ago. So like, let's say a random number. Let's say somebody got 300 bodies. We just gonna say for the sake of this pod, that's a lot, right?
Is that not a lot in real life?
I'm just saying, because I don't know who's watching this, right? For a nigga to have 300 bodies, there's something prestigious.
That's Wilt Chamberlain numbers.
That's something prestigious about you. You're 6'10", you got $1 million.
You got something.
You
can have 300 bodies.
Something you have some type of skill or something.
But is a woman with 300 bodies not?
You don't have to have no skill.
No, you don't have.
It's like breathing for y'all.
If you go outside the gas station, no. Having being.
Oh, you're saying like the person, the skill of the person, not the ability sexually of the person.
No, I'm saying the prestigiousness of the person, where you rank at in society. You can be bottom of the barrel in terms of women, not
and still have as many sexual partners as you want.
Yeah, you can run it up. You can run it up as a woman very easily. Like right now, if you just went through your phone and dropped off some shit in every contact, you would probably, that's, I don't know how many contacts you got. That's 80 right there. That's 80
or
right
just
there.
like the fact that you can go to a gas station looking butt ugly. And you still gonna have dudes that try to talk to you, pay for your gas, this and that.
They don't pay for the gas no more. They just be trying to talk.
Well, I'm just saying this is easier for y'all. As a man, like you said, you got to be somebody.
If you see this and you a man and you catch Kayla at the gas station, don't come up trying to talk to me unless you put in 20 in the tank, because I take 93.
But you would probably get that before Bril and our Pank do, is what I'm saying.
I mean, I guess
it's the life y'all live, man. It is
the double standard. You know what I'm saying?
It does go with the double standard. But so while we're talking about double standards, perfect segue. Let's talk about how when women break up with men, when we get out of relationships, with y'all, I gotta get comfortable for this one. When we get out of relationships with y'all, it's almost like a light switch goes off to say, "Dang, I was letting myself go. This man was." had me in the house feeding me, getting me fat, and like I wasn't doing my hair. I wasn't doing anything like myself. I'm just all about him. And so now that post breakup, it's like, let me get back in the gym. Let me cut my hair. Let me go outside. I see why he wanted to keep me in the house. It's fun out here.
In the middle of June, the vacation, the ass pictures right down the ground. Just
literally
watch it go.
sand all in my ass cheeks. I'm on the internet. I swear.
Sand all in my ass cheeks is crazy.
Can you please explain to me what goes? Because in my mind, it's like, yo, if let's say your niggas out here cheating, right, and you at home being a super homely, not really taking care of yourself. I've heard women say it's because they're over invested into the relationship.
That's a mistake we made, but we can talk about that later.
But it's like, yo, and then once this nigga do you dirty and y'all break up, now you have all the motivation to like turn yourself up.
Out.
Maybe if you'd have piped yourself up in the relationship, maybe he might not have been outside.
Hey, that's a good point.
Flag on the play.
Flag
on the play.
Nah, what the applause at? Fuck that shit.
Y'all, they overriding me. I need my own soundboard. But no, flag on the play because. So even if we're in a relationship where a lot of women go wrong, and I've made this mistake too sometimes, we do get overly invested in a relationship and worrying about the man and what he got going on. We lose ourselves. A lot of women talk about in relationships, marriages, children, we lose ourselves because as women, we're looked at as nurturers. So it's so easy for us to be nurturing everyone and everything around us and forget about ourselves. Summer and Carisha talked about this. They talked about how it's important for women to make sure we take time for ourselves. Now, in these relationships, especially young ones, we're still figuring it out, but sometimes we end up we go too hard on the early duties. Like we get too wifey and hubby too soon, and it creates this, and it creates this dynamic of taking on way too much more than you should, and you're still not working on yourself. So what happens is when you get out of it and you realize, dang, I got all this free time. I've been letting myself go. Let me tap back into who I am. Now, where it can go wrong again is if you tap back into who you are, you get back right, and then you get into another relationship and do it all over again, and you forget the lesson you learned. But a lot of women tend to try to stick to it as much as possible. But it's a thin ass line between I'm going to get myself together and I'm going to date someone and I'm not going to forget about myself.
Facts.
But that line is, oh, but I'm so worried about him. Oh, I forgot to eat breakfast because I was trying to make sure he had a sandwich. So, what's up with the sandwich?
Let me lay it out how I think about it. This is why I don't be understanding at all. Like I guess it's two words that's going to help you understand my point. There's capacity and there's effort, right? So let's say we say something like cooking, right? Let's say if you know 10 recipes, like of some shit that you can make and it's good. So you have a capacity of 10 meals, right?
Right.
So effort is like how much are you maxing out that capacity? Are you cooking 10 different meals in 2 weeks? You know what I'm saying? So that's your level of effort. Working on yourself increases that capacity. So if you're drinking water and going to the gym, if you know what I'm saying, staying on your fashion tip, getting a little dressed, you know whatnot, you stay in that mix, your capacity for it is like higher. So you have to give less effort. Like if you know 30 fucking recipes you've been cooking since you were little, you cooking twice for a nigga is not much of your capacity. It's very easy for you to do.
Right.
But if you're not working on yourself and your capacity is fucking 4 meals, you don't got no fits, you ain't been to the gym. When it's time for you to even look sexy, it's not gonna. You gotta go max effort.
Right.
You gotta do all this extra shit the day of in that moment because you weren't doing the things to build the capacity up. And it's like, why all of a sudden? I hate that shit. It's just it's so many memes and shit of girls breaking up and fucking glowing up, and it's just like you.
It's really just because they back in the streets. They just ready to
right.
turn
It's like,
up.
but I can't go outside looking sloppy.
Your point is they should have done that while they were in a relationship.
If you wanted to marry this nigga and you going out and you really about to let these other niggas just have a better version of yourself, because you gonna do that get back, you know, that little get back run.
Of course.
So they gonna catch you on a better version of you on discount versus the nigga who was gonna take you serious. You gave him just like, you know what I'm saying? So whatever you had at that
keeping
moment.
up that effort while you in it and not getting too lost in the sauce.
But I'm gonna give you an example too. We've all seen Insecure, right? Oh, you haven't watched Insecure?
I've seen a good.
Sterling, you've never watched Insecure?
I haven't watched it.
Oh, okay, Jazz. We gonna make Sterl sit down and watch Insecure because no, you really should watch it. So, Bril, you remember when Issa and Lawrence were first dating? How Lawrence had been sitting on the couch all those years.
Lawrence is the tall brown skin nigga.
Yes, that's at the opening of the show. Issa was working. They living together. He didn't have a job. He wasn't working. He had kind of let himself go. But then when they broke up, Lawrence glowed up. He went and got a job. He got a haircut.
Sometimes you need that reality check,
right? But why couldn't he get himself together when they were dating? Why couldn't he go get a job? Why couldn't he do all the stuff?
It don't have to even be a gender. Like while you're in your relationship, you need to still be doing you. like figuring out who you are, still trying to be the best. You
But
maxing out
it's
your
hard
capacity.
sometimes.
It is hard. You
because
get lost in the sauce.
You get lost, and you get lost in love. And I think we always talk about how love is blind and how
happy weight, all that
right,
shit.
happy weight, and how everything can just be so blinding to the bigger picture. You have to have a partner who
It's gonna keep-
who's gonna keep you reeled in. And I think sometimes as women, we get offended when we're dating men and they so focused on their goals and their dreams, and they like, hey, yo, shorty, I can take you out on Wednesday, but Thursday through Tuesday, I'm working, I'm locked in, and they like, well, he don't love me, he don't spend no time with me, and it's like because he loves you, he's not spending time with you because he's trying to set the stage for what's to come. And as an emotionally mature woman, it took me a long time to really realize that, and it took me a while to realize, well, while he's working on himself, what can I do to better myself so that when we come together, we're two halves of a better whole person.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Mostly intelligent Kayla has
Emotionally intelligent Kayla has done it. But while we gonna have to put a timer on that.
long that shit is.
Right, it's like 20 minutes of clapping. But while we're talking about like being emotionally aware and understanding how both sides roll, gender roles, I think we've talked a lot, me and Sterl, like offline about how our differing opinions. So before we start talking about gender roles, Sterl, do you want to share a little bit about your upbringing and background so that everybody can have some? Right. Before we go at it.
At 5'9" and 3/4.
At 5'9" and 110 pounds.
That was crazy.
Not too much. Not
Kayla,
too
that's
110. She told me nah. But nah, so we'll talk. We'll just keep it short. I came up what did you call it earlier? The family?
Traditional.
Nah, the other word. Not golden.
American Dream.
American Dream type family. 2-parent household. Both went to college. They met in college. They dated. They got married. They had me. 2 years later, had my brother. Both my parents are educators. So I came up real traditional, seeing the man and woman balance and how it should go. And then furthering my studies into women. And that's what I'm saying. Men have to study these things. Y'all could just go out and do whatever. I had to study, and just being around women, I figured it out. Like I figured out what I'm supposed to do versus what I'm not. So I'm very adept when it comes to that. But I came up real traditional. So in my relationship or in my life, I like to play the traditional roles. And nowadays I feel like it gets like looked in a bad way. But I like to keep the heat on both sides. I feel like men should be just as accountable as women should. Like I don't like, you know what I'm saying, with the Kevin Samuels clips and all that stuff, they always put the stuff he talked about women, but he used to get niggas in check too, and I'm right there.
That
like,
shit just didn't go viral.
Them clips didn't go viral, but the shit that he was saying, you got to be just like, you got to be on your shit, you need to be making money, you need to be in shape, all that shit. And I feel the same way about women that I do about men. I'm just as hard on men as I am with women. So that's where the, you know what I'm saying, duality comes with mine. But that's, you know, my upbringing, that's what I'm used to, so that's what I like portray in, you know, our arguments or whatever, our discussions rather. So that's just, you know, my point of view. I'm real traditional, and I like traditional relationships. I think that's how the balance should go.
So my perspective, I grew up very non-traditional. My parents met in college. One wild night, boom, pops Kayla. They were both 20 years old when I was conceived, and so still young, figuring out life. I was raised majority of my life by both of my grandparents on both sides of the family. So my dad's people would have me for like 6 months, he'd come in. Then my mom's people would have me for like 6 months, they'd come in. So it was a lot of differing dynamics in who influenced how Kayla was raised. But that also kind of goes back earlier to like the showboating of Kayla with the bows and ribbons, because it was like, oh, we have this girl in the family, she's finally here, you know, whatever. Because my cousin came before me, he was a male, he came before me, so it was like, okay, whatever. So for me, because my parents weren't married, I never saw very like happy marriages. So my mom's parents slept in separate rooms for as long as I can remember. They lived in the same house, slept in separate rooms. My dad's parents, they are together, sleeping in the same bed, but I found out as I've gotten older, my grandfather was not a very perfect person, has outside children, a whole lot of other things. So so my perception of marriage and life and things like that didn't start to really form from a positive aspect until I got older and got to see healthy relationships outside of family. So for me, gender roles is something that have just always been interesting. Like while my grandfathers were both still in the homes bringing in money, there was no real exchange of black love for me.
And like, even my grandparents were together, like my dad's parents together. So I saw it in the grandparent place, the parents like in the household, you know, like, and then other sides of the family, it got a little whatever. But like my immediate, what I was seeing was that.
Yeah, see, and I think
real Huxtable. I grew up like real Huxtable.
I was about to say, and I think that shapes it too, because even for you, like, So my dad, has been married a couple times. So he's has plenty like children outside of that.
Yeah.
So it's like your sibling is your sibling. There are no half, there are nothing. I have no full-blooded siblings. All my siblings are half.
Gotcha.
So it's like I think when we're talking about like this dynamic of gender roles, it is shaped a lot by how we're brought up and what we're exposed to. Yeah. So with that being said, you ready, Sterling?
Okay.
Let's get into it.
Keep it cute.
Oh, well, also, Bril, let's talk about your upbringing because you talked about how you were kind of right in between since you're refereeing
I'm
orchestrating.
So I think I like to believe I'm the most even-kilted person around. So I had my mom was the pregnant wife, you know what I'm saying? So it was like right there on time. You kind of did it right, kind of did it wrong a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I done seen like married, long-ass marriages, hard divorce, ugly divorces, single parents, mom, dad. I done seen all of that in my family. So I kind of have a decent understanding. So I'm gonna referee this whole thing, man. All right, so let's get into it. Say what?
Till 30.
Yeah, we're gonna, you know what I'm saying? We can get like a little quick segment.
Okay.
All right, so boom, who's cooking the meals and who's cooking the dinner in your household? Y'all got 30 seconds. Go.
And honestly, I'm on both sides. My
You
dad
got
cooked a
30
lot. My dad cooked a lot.
Your pops was a Renaissance man.
Yeah, I'm about to say your dad is he's
My
every
dad
man.
did magic, taekwondo, played trumpet.
Your dad did do
he a
magic.
deacon in the
That's
church. I
crazy.
swear to God. No, he did magic. Like I lie to you not. So I'm on both sides. Traditionally, I think the woman, but I will have times where I cook too. I don't have no problem with that.
Okay, so me, I'm gonna be honest. My upbringing, I really don't know a lot of these old recipes and stuff. So like I'm right now.
losing recipes.
Wait, right. I
get
said
those
we're
recipes.
losing the recipes. Just like y'all ain't
fuck,
grilling
no.
no more. I forgot how to make cornbread.
We go
Anyway.
grill.
I'm about to say
We go
that's
grill.
what
Okay, the bros are a separate
Yeah,
type of, but we
separate
speak
type of
generally
man.
on this
Generally.
podcast.
Every man can't be a
So
bro.
it's funny
That's
because
facts.
it's on my bingo card this year to learn how to make my grandmother's mac and cheese, sweet potato pie, like stuff like those older recipes.
Learn that
so
shit.
I'm trying to learn it, but if my man can cook, I'm gonna let him. Like
Yeah.
I'm
My dad
flexible
actually cooks
on
a
that.
lot though, so I'm on.
I'm
both
like a
sides.
before noon cooker, man. Like if it's breakfast, like we can go omelets,
Got
we
'em.
can go like pancakes from scratch, all that shit.
Okay.
Once 2:00 get here, I don't got no business in the kitchen. I don't got
No more business.
I don't got no
oh,
business in the
see,
kitchen,
there's
you know what I mean?
there go that gender role
I
again.
don't got no business in
I
that
don't got-
kitchen.
I don't
There
got
go
no
that
business.
gender
And this
role
girl's a
again.
chef, so it's like
Right, I'm about to say you
loopholes. We
expect
got
her.
loopholes.
Right, you just kind of lean back and be like, what you want for dinner? What you cooking? Like I don't really know.
Next question.
Let's go.
What you got?
All right, bet. All right, who's the provider? Who should be the provider?
Oh, here we go.
Man.
Kayla about to get buried under the dirt again.
Because we got people like Gabrielle Union, D Wade, the
Yeah,
whole
the 50-50,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? She was saying how she basically paid 50% of the bills. People were pissed off about that shit,
Right.
but it's like
Every household is different.
they're both providing for multiple households, and if you marry, I think personally, you marry a nigga and expect him to pay for the three households,
especially when y'all
that you
both
were-
making a
Right.
good amount of money, that's a little
I
much.
was like,
Yeah.
girl, you better go take this movie role. I don't know what you're doing.
But
They
now
make a
provider
delivery.
though, generally the man for sure. In my
The deep side.
and that's
It's
why
a-
I've never heard a girl say that she should be the provider. That's
I
why I
don't
be
think
tripping out.
it's
kids.
not that I see. Here we go, Sterling, because I didn't
House
say.
husbands,
I
house
did. Oh
husbands,
my God!
house husbands.
I never said that I should be the provider. What Kayla said was, if Kayla is able to, Kayla doesn't mind.
Right. I
If
think
Ka-
we should both Go ahead. I'm not even to cut you off.
Thank you.
Do your thing.
If Kayla is able to, Kayla doesn't mind. But the other piece of that whole thing was Kayla wants her husband to be around for the upbringing of their children. I want my husband to be hands-on. I don't want to have to go through postpartum depression by myself. I don't want to have to be barefoot and pregnant by myself. And I want a man who has the ability to call the shots when it comes to how he works and how he maneuvers how he works. So if that means
So you don't like people with 9 to 5s. That's what
it's funny
I'm
because
fucking
I
with
love
you.
me.
I'm
No.
fucking with you.
Okay, so what's funny? It's funny because I don't actually like men with 9 to 5s, but I would date a blue
let the
collar
record
man.
show I did not push her to say that.
No, he didn't push me to
No
say that.
cor-
It's not
no
my. It's
coercion.
not my cup of tea because you ain't got enough time for me.
But you
in
can
a
make
sense.
time. But then I go back to what you were talking about earlier.
So any man that I've ever dated that had a 9 to 5 didn't live close to me, and that was also part of the, because it's like if you don't live close and you work a 9 to 5, I can give you all the slack in the world for not spending time with me. But if you work a 9 to 5 and you hear your 5 to 9 is you trying to get your life together, you trying to get your next thing moving, you don't have time. But I can date a blue collar man, like a man that works in like construction or something like that, because you'll work a couple 12-hour shifts, but then the rest of the week. But then the rest of the week, you chilling, you free. You know what I'm saying? You can do whatever I want to do, or drug dealer scams. But anyway, moving into but back to what I was saying though, as far as the providing part, if I make more money than my husband and he's okay with Khayla doing majority of the heavy lifting, we will be just fine. But see, a lot of men don't feel comfortable knowing that their woman even makes more than them. So that's where y'all lose.
I don't really get that aspect of like how do you feel uncomfortable with Shorty making more money? Now, if she's making more money and I'm still fronting most of the bills, I'm gonna be pissed.
Right.
I'm raising hell.
Like, nah, come on now.
Like, what the fuck is going on in here?
Yeah.
Look, what's really going on?
This shit is a scam.
Exactly.
This shit is a scam.
This is not what you
and I'm
signed
getting
up for?
scammed. That's not what I signed up for. I'm getting scammed. That's what's going on.
No, I definitely can see that, but I think for me, it's not about the money more so than it's about the perks
The parenting.
the parenting,
Divvying up that time.
right, divvying up the time. Because to me, providing isn't just a monetary thing. Providing is time, it's emotional capacity. It's can you go to our son's baseball game? Can you go to your daughter's recital? Do you have the ability to say, I can miss a couple hours of work or miss a little bit of money, or is the money gonna keep flowing in even while you're here? That's what I look more so at. And it's like if my income gives us more flexibility and gives us the ability for me to do what I gotta do so you can go to these things and you can show up and let's do it. I think you just have to look at all dynamics. But if you want to be a house husband and make sandwiches, I'm not
Kayla
opposed.
gonna front the bills.
I'm
Hit
not
up Khayla
opposed.
J. She's gonna pay all of them.
Facts.
Okay, whoa.
Time out.
Look, whoa.
Going out.
Yeah, time out. Oh.